My name's Alexander, and I want to share a bit about my personal experience with therapy. I had gone into therapy when I was younger, but I didn't actually start taking it seriously until the last 2 years. And in in hopes of helping you find your voice, tell your story, I want to be completely honest about how I have been able to tell my stories and how I was able to find my voice. And a large pillar of that was through therapy, right? Regular therapy sessions, not focusing just on that, but focusing on, well, if you've ever been in therapy, you know, you go in for a goal and then you find out, oh, there's 100 things beneath this goal that I actually have to work on. Not to dissuade any of you from going into therapy, but it there's always more to there's always more to what you want than what actually you think you want. This is just a nice way of saying that. Um, yeah, so my experience with it has been really positive, though is really difficult. And sometimes I wish that the Western model was real and that I could just take a pill and fix all of my problems. It has been immensely rewarding to see my progress over time, I guess, is what I would like to say. Uh, yeah. I wanted this video to be super easy to say, and not necessarily as a spokesperson for therapy, but just to be honest about how important therapy was in finding my authentic voice. And now that I am about to say my experiences with therapy, I can feel that sensation of like, oh, but do we want to say that? Do we have to say that? And it's like, no, you don't have to say anything. But isn't this whole channel about authenticity? Isn't this whole channel about not being afraid of sharing your experiences with the world? Oh, it is. Okay, so therapy. Yes. Um, no idea if we'll include that, but I guess authenticity. So, you know, you're building an authentic sense of self when there are miniature arguments and you keep moving forward. Um, I think. So, my experience with therapy has been really, really tumultuous. Is if that's even the right word. I got into therapy because of a laundry list of issues, uh, self harm and binge eating, and just overall spiraling and rumination on negative attributes. That to summarize. And 2 years later, the only thing left as still a problem is rumination on self worth and shame. I guess actually, yeah, the only actual problem left is shame, and that once I figure out the solution to that, I will share it with you. I promise. Because, for yeah, shame is a very for me a very big thing. Uh, Let me know if anybody has any answers to shame, because I would love to hear them. Um, but other than that, other than the fact that I'm still working on myself and that therapy is like a constant experience, it's not a one and done. Therapy has saved my life. Uh, could not be standing sort of in front of you right now if it wasn't for therapy, not just because of confidence, but just because of survival. Yeah, certainly would not be here if it wasn't for therapy. And I wouldn't be a writer today if it wasn't for therapy. So, to the creators of therapy out there, therapy gods, thank you. So this isn't not necessarily a like go get in therapy. I'm not prescribing it, but if you are struggling to tell your story, if you are unable to be yourself because of all these things that are popping up, my videos will certainly help. But a therapist is extremely helpful because they are with you on the journey. They are able to reflect back to you attributes that you may not see. I don't know if how many of you know what body dysmorphia is. It's something I've struggled with in the past, but it's where you look in the mirror and you actively do not see reality. And I don't know what the word for it is, or if there is a word for it, but there's like this mental dysmorphia as well, where like you don't see the progress you're making. You don't uh you're not always able to see it. But with a therapist, they're constantly seeing you grow and develop and are able to voice that back to you. And it makes all the difference. It really does, to not just be in a vacuum with yourself. So if you've been on the fence about therapy, this isn't for people who are like, nope, therapy's not for me. Okay, cool, don't do therapy. But if you were on the fence about therapy, and you were unsure if it would help your creative process or if it would help you in meeting your goals, I'm telling you wholeheartedly, it will not hinder them. It will not hinder your goals. So give therapy a shot. I'm very glad I did.